in November.
Yeah, so hopefully everyone at this point has gotten their poster and their congregational ID. Now, we recognize that there were some hiccups with the postal system, right, for some people. So if you have not yet gotten that piece, Meredith will put in the chat where to reach out. But you can reach out to our office, to our assistant registrars, Lauren or Jessica, and they're able to resend a new poster, make sure you have your congregational ID, also give you your congregational ID so that you have it quick, so that you're able to kind of get started. So, but hopefully almost everybody was able to find it, to find the envelope that you accidentally put in the trash that you remembered after our last live was important because it had your congregational ID on it. Hopefully everybody tracks that down.
Perfect. Thanks for that reminder, Juliana. So we're going to walk through what we think are the top 10 things you guys need to know about registration. As we've mentioned before, Juliana, Anna, and I are not necessarily the experts on this topic, so we've got Krista to call on if we need some help. Feel free to ask questions in the comments of this video. We will do our best to answer them as best as we can, as some of this registration process is a learning curve for us as well. So to start off this list, we'll just go right into it, right? We're not going to hesitate. So first thing on the list is online data entry. That will begin later this month. It's a few things that you'll need to know before your group can start that data entry is you need an email that is actually working, that you check regularly. This is not your spam email that you list out at restaurants to get free catered items. This is one that you need to check every single day. You will also need that congregational ID number that is listed on that poster or on the envelope of the poster that we sent. So again, if you haven't gotten that, make sure to reach back out to our office to help with that. If you've never done a gathering before, online data entry is not technically sending in your registration. It's just getting all of your information inputted, so when the day comes that you can mail it November 1, all you have to do is just send it in. So we try to make that part easy. Some groups have a lot more kids than other groups, so we want to make sure we give you enough time before that postmark date.
Right, because as you saw that came out last week, there are some forms you can have people fill out. Those are not necessarily what you are sending in, and we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. And I already saw a question about special needs. Again, hold on, we will get to you. I see that. So the second thing we do want to remind you of is just a couple of fee things, right? So registration fee is $395 with that $150 non-refundable deposit. But registration does increase to $450 after March 1st. So that's one of our many incentives. We'll talk about a couple of others today. One of our many incentives for you to be able to get your registration in a little early. The earlier you do it, there's some benefits for us. It definitely benefits us in terms of our planning. And Krista, in terms of her job, Krista wants you to register early, right? So Krista?
Right.
Fantastic. So as many of you I know are still seeing lots of comments about, hey, we're budgeting, we're trying to figure that out. Just a quick reminder about just the registration fee.
Yeah, and Krista, people are asking, about this postmark date and what does that mean and why is it so serious for us?
The postmark date is the first date that you can mail your forms. When you do the online registration, the data entry, as you were talking about, you'll be entering the information. Now, when you're finished, there will be a couple of forms that you will be prompted to print. And those are the forms that you actually have to mail to our office along with your deposit. Now, if you want to pay the full $395, that's perfectly okay. Just keep in mind that you have to do the same for your whole group. If you have 10 people in your group, you all have to pay the $150 deposit or the full $395. You can't split it. So keeping that in mind. And then on November 1st is the first date that you can postmark your forms when you put those in the mail. We do check the postmarks when they come. Now, it's not, so this is not the date that they arrive in our building. So the people who live in St. Louis don't have any bigger advantage over the people who live in Alaska. As long as you all postmark them on November 1st, that's what we acknowledge. Now, what we're doing is a first come, first serve, this gathering. We haven't done that before. So what does that mean? The biggest thing is you will have the first chance of getting a downtown hotel. And that's pretty huge to most people. That seems to be what everyone wants. I know I would. We don't have enough hotels downtown to house everybody. We are only in one other area, which is the Galleria area, which are lovely hotels, restaurants, that sort of thing. But if you have your stuff postmarked on November 1st or very close to that, you will have a better chance of a downtown hotel. Now, there's some other program pieces that play into that, but the hotel choice is the biggest one that I think most people will be interested in.
Absolutely. And there's a few things I'm seeing in the comments. There are a few forms that we'll talk more about here in a little bit that you do actually have to mail into our office. A lot of it, though, is online. If you were a youth leader last time, or if you were a youth last time, you noticed that last time we did a little contest of decorating your registration envelopes. It was a lot of fun for us to go through. You guys have some really talented youth in your groups, and we would have them like hanging on the walls, and we had a whole box full of them. So look for that on our social media about how your youth can get involved in making those envelopes look fantastic and related to the theme. It was so fun last time. I really enjoyed it and loved going through them all. Moving on, Krista kind of talked about this November 1st date, and those little forms that we're going to have to print out. When you get into the registration program, you're going to be walked through, you're going to enter in your youth information based on the forms that we've uploaded on the Gathering website. There will be a prompt to print out a few forms that you do have to mail into the office, which include your group's pastoral affirmation form, a registration account form, your deposit, and if you have any special needs in your groups, each one of those youth will have to fill out the special needs form, and you will need to send that into our office as well. As you're doing that, you're thinking, okay, payment-wise, on page 6 of the Gathering registration book are all the different forms of payment of how you can pay that deposit. So I would encourage you to just download that book and look through those. We won't spend all the time going through them because there's multiple options for whatever your group might need. And as a reminder, just one more time, you don't have to submit all of those worksheets from the Gathering website to our office, just the ones that you're prompted to along with those special needs. And if you need the LCEF account, if that's how you're choosing to pay.
Yeah, so November 1st, there's just some of that information you're entering online, some of it you do send into us. All of this information is already in the registration book. So we're just reaffirming what's already in the registration book. So if you have some questions, you can look at the registration book. It's going to walk you through. And we'll give you some other tips and tricks as we go along the way. I'm seeing a couple of people who are asking about hotels, right? So make sure right now we're saying like if you're doing your budget estimate like 180 a night, is that about right, Miss Krista?
Correct.
And then I saw a couple of like, well, how many are downtown versus Galleria? I'm not sure we even know that percentage because different hotels give us different blocks, give us different, right? Like, but right now we're saying those are really, as far as we know at this point, and of course things could change if many more of you register, which we would get excited about, and Krista would not get less excited about. Still be excited, just less excited. But right now, the hope is that we're in those two places. So you can go ahead and think about those two things. So somebody said like, well, what does it mean? We don't necessarily have to turn in all the paperwork, right? Remember that we have some paperwork that we take, but most of it, like in each individual form, right, is something that stays with you. Those forms are really just for you to know what you're going to need to put in online. So Krista already mentioned this. She's jumping ahead on my list. I love it, right? That starting with that postmark on November 1st, we're going to assign hotels on that kind of first come, first serve basis. So 2 Pockets, downtown, and at the Galleria is going to have shuttles, right, Krista?
Correct. Yes.
Anything else you want to say about kind of hotels and as people prepare on that?
Well, as you said, we are downtown in the Galleria, which if you attended the 2019 gathering in Minneapolis, you will know that we had 6 different pockets of hotels, which is a lot. It's a lot to manage, a lot to shuttle. So we're really excited that we are downtown and the Galleria, and that's it. Now, again, as Juliana mentioned, if registration just goes through the roof, that would be a wonderful thing. It truly would. And we will have to expand where the hotels are. But right now, downtown Galleria. Galleria is a lovely area, about 20 minutes from the downtown area. But of course, in Houston, everything is traffic dependent, but about 20 minutes from downtown. It's a lovely area, lots of restaurants, things to do, that sort of thing. So I don't think anyone would mind staying at the Galleria. And again, shuttling provided there on a daily basis.
Yeah, I just thought a question came up. If somebody has special needs, we have a special needs hotel for people who have a need in terms of that location. So if you have somebody, like there is a special needs form, we're going to have you fill that out. It'll go to our special needs team. But yes, we do have a hotel that's close by, right? I don't think, do we know which hotel that is?
We do actually, but that's, we do. The gathering really wants every young person who wants to attend the gathering to be able to do so regardless of any kind of challenges or limitations that they might have. Now, the only thing that we don't address in special needs is food allergies and food issues. That's just kind of an unwielding kind of a thing to tackle. So we leave that up to the individual congregations. But regardless of anything else, fill out a special needs form. You'll find that during the registration process. If you have multiple special needs youth, fill out a form for each one of those and provide the information requested and send those forms along to us. We actually have a team that just deals with special needs youth, and they will personally be in contact with you and discuss the situation even further and get back to me to let me know from a housing standpoint or what have you, shuttling, whatever that might be, how we can best accommodate your special needs youth.
And Chris, I saw a comment on there. Just a reminder, we are tax exempt in Texas. That only covers your state tax. Correct me if I'm wrong, Krista, that does not cover, a lot of hotels will have a tax that's like a stadium tax because they're right next to the stadium or other concert venue. I don't think you can be exempt from all of those taxes, but only the state tax, correct?
That's correct. And I think it's 6%, which if you have a large group, 6% of your hotel bill can kind of add up to a significant amount. So that the website that you go to is in the registration book. I would highly recommend that you download that, print it, read it, whatever, and know what is in there. But this isn't something that we can do for you. This is each individual congregation has to apply to the state of Texas to get this exemption, this tax exempt certificate. It's not too early to do that now. If you wait until closer to the gathering, it can get very backlogged there in their office and you might not get your certificate before the gathering. You'll have to take it with you and you present that when you go to the hotel. I think you can use it at restaurants, that sort of thing as well. But if you don't get it in time, you will still have to pay the tax. You can get your certificate and then apply to the state of Texas to get it reimbursed after the fact. But obviously, if you get it up front and you have it with you, it certainly makes it a lot easier. So if that's something you're interested in, go to the registration book and go to that website and fill out the forms.
Absolutely. I know that we could talk about hotels a lot. Chris, that's one of your favorite subjects, right? We will be talking more about hotels as we get later on in the gathering process. There's a brief timeline throughout the registration book. You can take a look at that and know that we're going to have some communication in the future about those hotels. Moving forward on our list of gathering registrations must know things. We know a lot of you guys are getting back to the swing of things. Youth group is starting back up. Youth are starting school again, and you're starting to have those gathering meetings. Maybe November 1 looks like a daunting date to you. How am I supposed to get all of my youth together? Well, we hope you have all your youth together before November 1st. We just want you to know that you are allowed to make additions and substitutions up until May 31st before the gathering. Now, I know Krista can probably tell us stories of all the Jane Does and John Does that have been added to the gathering registration system. We just hope that you guys have actual youth and put those names in there, and just know that we're pretty accommodating in the gathering office to make those substitutions. Don't register one youth and hope that you can get the closest hotel and then go and add 20 other youth like 3 months later. So the more youth that you have uploaded into your registration, the better we can place you in these hotel blocks that we have. Any other thoughts on that, Krista?
No, that's good. November 1st can be rather daunting, and typical youth don't necessarily think 6 months in advance and don't know if they're able to go, and some have camps and sports and what have you. So do your best to register them early. You can add people on. I would give you a date of, say, the middle of January of 22, that you can still add youth on, and it doesn't impact kind of your housing situation. So it is a big job to put everybody in their hotels, to assign them. And I usually start on that about February 1st. So if I look at your group and you've got 5 youth and 2 adults, I will slot you into a hotel that works well. And then April 1st, you come along and add 10 more people. It doesn't work. It really kind of upsets everything and becomes a little bit of a challenge. So it still doesn't mean that you can't add them, but just keep that in mind, the hotel piece, as to how that all fits together.
Yeah. But we do want to encourage you that, like, if you send in a bunch of registrations on November 1st because you're really eager, you have a group, and you have somebody who comes along in December, in January, or one person who comes along in maybe February and says, hey, I'd really love to come. We do want you to be able to bring them, right? You don't have to be locked down on November 1st. We want you to be able to bring as many young people as you can. And so we want to work with you on that process as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I saw a couple of people mention this, and so it may already be in the chat, but just to reiterate, if you're a group traveling together, there's a couple of things that we need you to keep in mind. Is that you'll want each congregation to complete their online registration on their own, and then take the forms that we listed earlier that you're going to need to include and that payment, and then have one contact person for the entire group and mail everything in the same envelope. Right, so you're going to register as an individual congregation. That helps us better track what congregations are coming and how many people they're bringing, and make sure that we're communicating with the right people. But you're going to put that the papers that you're sending to our office in the same envelope, so that we can anticipate that you're traveling together, you're coming together, all of those pieces. And if you want more information on that, you can look at page 8 in the registration book. It's going to list out exactly how you'll do that. So we know lots of smaller congregations kind of come together, especially with travel and hotels, and sometimes even sharing adult leaders. If you're a smaller congregation that maybe doesn't have many youth or enough adults, we want you to be able to do that, but we need to know that. So that's how you're going to indicate. You're register on your own online, but you're going to send in your information together.
One piece that I might add to that, Juliana, is a good resource for this is your district coordinators. Every district, for the most part, has a district coordinator, and they're on the website. You can find yours. If you find that you're a group that has one adult and one boy and one girl, what have you, it's kind of a challenging housing situation. And even maybe travel. If you contact your district coordinator, they might have a district bus that you can all climb on board the district bus. And there may be groups that have 3 boys and they have room for your 1 boy in a room there. And you can all kind of just slot yourselves into that, and it saves money. And plus get your kids involved in a more fellowshipping situation, if you will. They can go with a lot of other kids that they meet along the way. So don't hesitate to reach out to your district coordinator, because they are a good resource to help you out if you find yourself in one of those situations.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple more comments about this. We really are pretty accommodating for the gathering, and we want you guys to bring as many youth. We do not want youth to be left out in any way, shape, or form, regardless of abilities or disabilities. So if you have a youth that is maybe on the fence about going, we would encourage you guys to reach out to them and bring them. Just make sure you fill out that special needs form and send it to us, so we can make sure that the gathering can accommodate their needs in any way possible. We would love to have them all there. So please bring all of your youth, invite them all. They are all invited. Invite them all, yes. One last thing that we kind of just want to reiterate to you guys, if you've communicated with us, either calling our office or emailing us or just seeing online, we are using a brand new registration system for the first time in over 20 years now. So we know a lot of you guys are starting these meetings and your fundraisers, and we just really greatly appreciate your patience as we continue to learn more about our program that we believe is going to make registration much easier for you guys in the long run. So thank you guys for being patient with us and kind of going through all of this with us. It's like we're walking alongside each other.
You know, we are just really grateful for you and all of the work that you put into this. And I know there's tons of things that you know, we do every cycle, and sometimes people have done this a lot of cycles. Krista, how many gatherings have you been a part of?
Oh my, we're losing count, Juliana. 8, I guess. 8. Yeah.
I mean, just there's a lot of work that goes into it on your part, but there's also a lot of work that goes in on our part. And while we hope this new registration software is super smooth for everybody, for you, for us, it's going to be amazing. It's going to give us a lot of awesome things that we can do on our end to be able to make things go easily for us. But there may be some hiccups along the way. So please be patient if things, if timelines get bumped a little. We're going to do our very best to make sure that things happen in a timely fashion. Or if there's a hiccup here and there, we hope that you guys will have a lot of grace for us as we figure this out. Hopefully, a new software, it'll be, you know, technology doesn't change that fast. It'll be another 20 years. We won't need to do it that often. Because technology hasn't changed that much in 20 years. No.
Oh, no, not at all.
I have like nightmares. Like I think I had been working in the office for like maybe a year or so, and somebody handed me like what used to be the registration form, which was like a pull off paper form that got sent into the office. I was like, I don't know how that happened. Like how? Like
I was there, Juliana. I was there. I've been there with the dinosaurs. Yes, me and the dinosaurs. We started.
Trying to make it easy for you guys, right?
Right.
And so we want to make sure we have some time for some questions that we've seen kind of popping up in chat. Just a reminder, if you want to talk more about registration, you can talk on end goals. We've got an episode coming out next week with Krista talking more about registration, probably covering a little bit of the same stuff that we talked about today. But if you need a refresher next week, or you want to listen to something while you're doing your chores, feel free to tune that in next week. We'll release that online. And as another reminder, there are a ton of other gathering episodes that we did a gathering starter pack back in June. So if you want to take some time and catch up on those, if you're going on a road trip this weekend, feel free to tune those in and listen to those. And we'll be having some more gathering episodes in the upcoming months.
Yeah, we had a breakout at National for first-time leaders. We heard from some of you that you'd like to hear that information again, or maybe you didn't make it to that session. So we actually recorded an extra one. It's not going to be on your calendar. It's a sneaky bonus episode that we did with Amy Anderson and with the material she covered it for first-time leaders. So if this is your first time doing this, we go back through kind of a lot of the details. Some of you are pros. You've been doing it for a long time. But if you haven't, or if you just want that refresher course, that will also be available, I think, by the end of the month. We'll have that one out as well. So we're excited. About every 6 weeks, we're going to have another podcast for you to listen to around the gathering. What are we missing here? As we're coming into 3 minutes.
Somebody did ask about paying, you know, the upsides and downsides of gathering registration. There's not really upsides and downsides. One upside is if you pay your registration in full prior to a date that is listed in the gathering registration book. You can I'm looking.
We're not going to say it. It's in the gathering registration.
It's in the gathering registration book.
The gathering registration book.
Yeah, absolutely. You would qualify for express registration, which means you get to go into like basically a fast pass line for the gathering instead of the pay line. Either way is fine. It's just a matter of preference and the ability that your church has to pay your group's balance.
Okay, so Brian is challenging us. He said, we said it was going to be a top 10 list, and then it got muddled, and he wants to know the top 10. Do you think I can do all 10 things in 60 seconds?
Yes.
All right, should I give it a try?
Yes.
Brian, challenge accepted, sir. Here we go. One was the online registration or online data entry begins later this month. Number two was the amount of registration, which is $395 with a $150 non-refundable deposit. Three was that the postmark date for you to start to send things in is November the 1st. Do not mail your registration before November the 1st. Four was that what you needed to send on November the 1st, which is you're going to be prompted to print out your pastoral affirmation form, your registration account form, along with your deposit and any special needs forms. Five was that hotel assignments for the gathering will be first come, first served. There are only 2 pockets, downtown and at the Galleria. 6 is that the housing rate for hotels is approximately $180 plus tax. 7 is that you want to have your group together by November 1st, but you are allowed to add or substitute before May 31st. 8 is that we do our best to accommodate participants with special needs. So I encourage you to think about if you have a student with special needs who can join us. 9 is if you're traveling together, put your forms together when you send them to us. And 10 is that we have a new registration system. Please be nice to us.
Yeah.
Did I do it? Am I close?
You did it. You did it.
All right. I don't know, it was quite 60 seconds, but that was the recap. Krista, did I miss anything?
No, I think you hit it all.
All right. One other person we want to point to, so End Goals Podcast is a great place to go. Always get information there. We re-upload these on Facebook, on the YouTubes, but also talk to your district coordinator. If you don't know who your district coordinator is, go to the website. You can look for your district. You can find that person. They're fantastic. They're an exceptional group of youth leaders who have brought young people to the gathering before, who can help guide you along the way. So please connect to them there. And then, as always, go to the gathering website. Maybe, I don't know, I think we mentioned it, download the registration book and the information. Go to all of the different pieces on Adult Leader, the Adult Leader resource page. We're always going to be uploading updated stuff, but frankly, like, there's just a lot of information there already that hopefully can get you there.
And we're going to have, if you're in the youth ministry group, we're going to have a post that's like a registration thread. So if after this video or after you listen to the podcast, you still have a registration question, just go and find that post on the group. We'll mark it as an announcement. So it should be up at the top when you log into Facebook. Feel free to drop your questions there. Either the gathering office or maybe your district coordinator can answer some of those questions for you guys. So just be on the lookout for that here this afternoon.
All right.
Other than that, we're excited to connect with you in October, and we're excited to learn more about your registration questions. And as we go through this process, it's a learning process for all of us, and we're walking right alongside you guys as you guys connect with your youth and the adult leaders and start that registration process. In the meantime, connect with us online, either through email, give our office a call, connect with us on the Youth Ministry Facebook group, and we will see you guys in October.